Boom, get ready. Because in the next few minutes we're diving deep into one of the most talked about pieces in modern British numismatics, a coin that stirs imaginations and wallets alike. The 1990 Elizabeth II 5 new pence coin. If you think change is just spare pocket metal, think again. This little coin packs history, design intrigue, rarity mysteries, and serious collector appeal into every shiny millimeter. Stay tuned as we explore its story from mint to market and uncover why some examples are worth far more than their face value. 1990 Elizabeth II 5 new pence coin. Picture Britain in 1990, the end of a decade that saw cultural shifts, changing monarchs, and coins jingling in every purse. Among these small treasures was the 5 new pence, a coin so ordinary in everyday transactions that most people never gave it a second thought. Yet today, numismatists argue that certain 1995p pieces deserve far more than casual attention. Why? Because beneath the everyday circulation surface lie stories of minting practices, design features, mintage oddities, and rare variations that can send values soaring well above the coin's original 5 pence denomination. To understand why this coin draws such fascination, we need to take a journey into its very essence. The 1990 Elizabeth II 5 new pence coin was part of the decimalization system introduced in the United Kingdom in the early 1970s. Decimalization shifted Britain from an old system of shillings and pence to a simpler decimal currency, and the 5p denomination became the modern equivalent of the old shilling, small, everyday, and ubiquitous. Designed to facilitate daily transactions, the 5p was never meant to be spectacular or rare, yet decades later, collectors find that certain issues from specific years, including 1990, have become highly sought after. The obverse of the 1995p bears the familiar and stately effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, rendered with crisp detail that captures her regal presence. The monarch's portrait, crafted by Raphael Maklouf, features her wearing the George IV state diadem, a symbol of enduring sovereignty. This design, used on coinage from 1985 until the mid-1990s, offers a compelling blend of realism and classical proportion. The Queen's profile faces right, set against inscriptions that proclaim her title and the year of minting. When you hold this coin, you feel connected to centuries of British tradition, because every small detail was created not just as currency, but as a marker of national identity. Flip the coin over, and you'll find the reverse design by Christopher Ironside, a respected artist whose work graced many British coins. For the 5 new pence piece, Ironside chose a segment of the Royal Shield of Arms, an iconic emblem that, when combined with other coins' reverse designs, forms the full shield. This creative approach means the 5p contributes a visual piece to a larger heraldic puzzle that collectors and cash handlers alike can appreciate. The shield design reflects unity and heritage, and Ironside's careful engraving ensures that even at such a small scale, each line and curve carries meaning and clarity. Mintages for the 1995p coin were high, reflecting its role as a circulating denomination. Millions were struck for everyday use, which normally would mean the coin should be common and of modest collector value. However, within that massive output lie anomalies, subtle variations, error strikes, and condition rarities that alter the coin's appeal dramatically. One of the key aspects collectors watch for in 1995p coins is condition. Because so many were released into circulation, finding an example in pristine, uncirculated condition can be surprisingly difficult. Most coins endured wear and tear, scratches, dings, loss of luster, and surface marks from pockets and purses. Yet coins that have remained untouched, with full original mint luster and sharp details on both the Queen's effigy and the shield segments, are highly prized. In numismatic grading terms, these pieces might be classified as extremely fine, XF, about uncirculated, AU, or mint state, MS, with the highest grades commanding the greatest interest and highest values on the market. Beyond condition, error coins from 1990 are a fascinating niche. Errors occur when something goes wrong during the minting process. A die slips, a planchet is misfed, or the press strikes off-center. These imperfections, while technically flaws, transform ordinary coins into rarities. For the 1995p, known errors include off-center strikes, doubled dies, and planchet issues. An off-center strike might show part of the design shifted to one side, creating blank space along one edge, an oddity that's visually striking and often commands a premium from collectors. Double die errors can produce ghost-like secondary images, especially noticeable in the inscriptions around the Queen's portrait. Planchet flaws, where the metal blank was imperfect before striking, can lead to chips or irregular surfaces. True error specialists hunt for these variants because they tell stories about the minting process itself and often show up in smaller numbers than standard circulation coins. But how rare are these variants, really? Exact counts for error coins are hard to pin down because many weren't documented officially by the Royal Mint. Instead, rarity estimations come from collectors who report sightings, auction records, and expert numismatic research. Some error 1995p coins have surfaced in collector circles, but they remain uncommon compared to the millions of normal circulation pieces. That scarcity, combined with visual uniqueness, drives value, especially when the error is dramatic and well-preserved. Let's talk values. Today's market for 1990 Elizabeth II 5 new pence coins varies widely, depending on condition and variant. A typical circulated coin, worn and dulled from everyday use, is usually worth only its face value or a small premium to a collector who wants a complete date set. But don't let that fool you. Once you move into better condition categories, prices begin to rise. Uncirculated examples with full luster and sharp details can fetch significantly higher prices at auctions and online marketplaces where collectors converge. And that's before we even consider error pieces. Error coins from 1990, especially notable ones like off-center strikes or double dies, have been known to sell for hundreds of pounds at specialist auctions, depending on severity and eye appeal. Some sellers have reported individual pieces reaching 4 figures, particularly if the coin is near mint condition and features a dramatic error that's well documented. These figures fluctuate with demand, the prominence of the error, and the overall condition of the coin. Collector interest in the 1995p also ties to broader trends in British numismatics. Over the last decade, interest in decimal coins, especially those from the late 20th century, has grown dramatically. Where once collectors focused almost exclusively on centuries-old silver and gold, modern coins have taken on new appeal thanks to online platforms that make it easy to share, research, and trade. Documentary shows, collector clubs, and digital marketplaces have all contributed to a renewed appreciation for pieces like the 1995p, turning everyday coins into objects of curiosity and investment. Another factor boosting interest is the sentimental connection many people have with decimal coins. Because they were in widespread circulation during the lives of millions of Britons, these coins evoke personal memories, pocket money from childhood, coins jingling in jars, the tactile feel of metal in everyday life. This emotional component adds depth to the numismatic story, making the 1995p more than just a small disc of metal. It becomes a piece of shared cultural history. For new collectors thinking about adding the 1990 Elizabeth II 5 new pence to their collection, here's some practical guidance. First, evaluate condition with a trained eye, or better yet, enlist the help of a reputable coin grader or dealer. Look for original luster, crisp design details, and minimal surface imperfections. Second, educate yourself about known errors and variations for this year. Reference books and numismatic forums are excellent resources. Third, be aware of market trends. Prices fluctuate with demand, and locations like auction sites or coin conventions can offer differing values. Finally, always buy from trusted sellers who offer clear images and grading information to ensure authenticity. It's worth noting that while many collectors chase the high-end values of error and uncirculated pieces, there's also significant enjoyment to be found in collecting typical circulation examples. Building a complete date set of 5p coins, understanding subtle design evolution, and appreciating the role these coins played in everyday British life can be immensely satisfying, even if some pieces don't fetch top prices. In closing, the 1990 Elizabeth II 5 new pence coin might have begun its life as a humble unit of everyday commerce, but decades later it stands at the intersection of design excellence, historical context, numismatic rarity, and collector passion. From the dignified portrait of the Queen to the elegant shield segment on the reverse, from millions minted for daily use to the rare error examples that captivate specialists. This coin tells a story that's rich, multifaceted, and deeply human. So next time you find a 5-pence piece in your pocket, take a moment to look closely. Take note of the date. You never know, what seems ordinary might just be extraordinary in the eyes of a collector and in the grand narrative of numismatic history.